Horizons.Church, friends, neighbors, guests. I'm Pastor Jason. I'm so excited that you're with us today. Seeing that prayer path be birthed out of Horizons and on our front lawn gets me really hopeful. I know it's small, but it's also a really big thing because this is ultimately the Horizons community in faith, in Christ, offering something to the greater community, saying, this is for you. This is one of the ways that we want to serve you. So come play on the path. Come pray on the path. Come get sweaty on the path. Invite a friend, invite a neighbor, tell someone about it. That's what it's there for. And I want to praise God for that. As we dive into worship this morning, our sole intent is that you have an encounter with Jesus, moving you to take your next steps, ultimately towards your best life and the best version of you for others in this world. If you're new with us today, I want to invite you to text us using that number on the screen there, that we can properly welcome you and start walking with you as you begin your journey and get familiar with Horizons. If you're here, we want to encourage you to start growing in your faith. You can do that through the Growth Tracks class at Horizons. Ultimately, you're going to learn about yourself, you're going to learn about your faith, you're going to learn about Horizons, and when you're done, you will have a better sense of your purpose, your people, and your place at Horizons. Give it a chance. One thing I want to invite you to do as we worship today, get out your cell phone, find Facebook, find Horizons Community Church, and check in today. Thanks to some generous donors at Horizons, every check-in equals $1 that goes to the Lincoln Food Bank. And friends, over time, that really adds up, and it's an extraordinary contribution and gift to our community for those who are in need. If you don't know how to check in, ask someone who's Facebook literate and make sure it counts. Make sure you get to be a part of that. As we begin worship in just a moment, we're going to experience some really powerful voices and some really important moments. And I want you to continue to have an open heart to understand that to our best understanding, this is what Jesus calls us to in moments of injustice, is to give voice to the voiceless and to listen and let the Spirit move us. I believe that we will be blessed for being together this morning and simply listening and letting the Spirit move. Let's worship.
God sent His Son. They called Him Jesus. He came to love. He let forgive. He lived and died to buy my pardon. An empty grave is there to prove my Savior lives. Because He lives, I can face tomorrow. Because He lives, all fear is gone. Because I know He holds the future, and life is worth living just because He lives. How sweet to hold a newborn baby and feel the pride and joy He gives, but greater still, the calm assurance this child can face uncertain day because He lives. Because He lives, I can face tomorrow because He lives. All fear is gone because I know He holds the future. And life ain't worth the living just because He lives. And there one day I'll cross the river, I'll fight life's fight, no war with pain. And then as death gives way to victory, I'll see the light of glory, and I know He lives. Oh, because He lives, I can face tomorrow because He lives. All fear is gone because I know He holds the future. And life ain't worth the living just because He lives. God, this morning, through whatever we're going through, God, I just want to take a step back and know that it's all right. God, that we can walk, we can sing for joy, and we can trust in You because You are with us, God, because You live. God, we know that because You live, we have a future, and You are our only hope. God, be with us. God, may we walk forever and upright in Your ways. May You bring all the honor and praise, the glory to You alone. God, we thank You in Jesus' name. Amen.
The weapon may be formed, but it won't prosper. When the darkness falls, it won't prevail. 'Cause the God I serve knows only how to triumph. My God will never fail. My God will never fail. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to You, Lord. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a can turn it for good. You turn it for good. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. See a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. Oh, you take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for
Good morning, Horizons. Thanks for tuning in this morning. Whether you've been a part of Horizons for years and years, or today is your first time checking us out, we want you to know that Horizons is founded on the strong vision of bringing all to Jesus to become life-changed life changers. Horizons is pursuing this vision in so many ways, from locally within our own building to support our church family, to global initiatives such as Project Hope that support orphaned and abandoned children in India, and the whole spectrum in between. You can keep up to date on the different missions and outreaches that are going on at Horizons through our website and our social media. When you give your gifts to Horizons, your time, your talents, and your treasures, you are helping us pursue this vision to reach all people for Christ and to turn us all into life-changed life changers. Your giving creates ripple effects throughout the world that we can't begin to imagine. So thank you for your continued giving. Today you can follow this link on the screen to continue giving your talents, treasures, and time to Horizons Community Church. Project Hope is one of our missions that reaches globally to children in India through the support of 2 children's homes. Recently, we were having a fundraiser selling t-shirts with our brand new logo to support education for these children in India. The sales of these t-shirts has been amazing. We've raised over $1,500 that we can send to both homes to support these children in pursuing their education. Quality education is a vital link to breaking the chain of poverty that these children were born into. So I'm so excited that we are able to support students at Prerecorded and at Bethel to continue their quality education. Thank you so much. You can stay tuned with Project Hope. You can find out updates about the homes and the directors and the students, as well as watch for upcoming events through Project Hope, through our new social media on Facebook and Instagram. Again, thank you so much for your gifts to Horizons and through Project Hope. We are excited to see you today. Enjoy the service.
Hello, everyone. My name is Derek Branch. These are undoubtedly very challenging times for us as a community and for us as a country. I'd be lying if I said I didn't have questions about coming on and speaking, just because of the magnitude of the issues that we're facing. But if we're asking people to open up their ears and open up their hearts and listen, I feel like I've been given a platform where I can make change. I'm a firm believer that if you are silent in times of oppression, and you have chosen to side with the oppressor. So this is me not being silent anymore. All I ask of you guys is to just listen. Don't listen to respond, but listen with an open heart and an open mind, and try your best to understand. Don't be confused. I'm sure we have all seen the protests and riots. I'm pretty sure it happened in all 50 states. Don't be confused about what those really mean, what the message behind that really is. The Black community is asking you, is pleading for you to back them. They know that they can't do it alone. We as the Black community are asking you to step up and be behind us, because we cannot witness another one of our brothers and sisters die because of racism. For me as a Black individual, watching the murdering of George Floyd was absolutely brutal. It brought up every fear I have if I get pulled over. It brought up it made me question what people really thought about me. I shouldn't have these thoughts. To me, why the murder was so impactful to us in the Black community is because for the last 450 years, we've been educated on and we've been taught about things that happened to our grandparents, great-grandparents, how they grew up. Some of us grew up in slavery. Some of us grew up during the civil rights movement. Some of us grew up during social and racial injustices. We've been told that we've moved past that. But then you see such evil in the world and it brings up your worst fear and you question if you really are past it or not. It becomes exhausting having to question whether or not people are going to judge you based on the color of your skin. And I, for one, and I'm quite certain a lot of people in the Black community are tired of having to feel like this. It's not just police brutality that people are protesting. It's all the little instances of racism that build up over time. For me personally, I've been pulled over twice in the past 8 months. Once for a dirty windshield, and once for my windshield not being all the way cleared due to snow. Things that people may gloss over and just not understand, but to me, it's almost a helpless feeling. Like I don't know what to do in those situations. In my family, my dad, he walks around the neighborhood all the time. One day he was walking, getting his exercise in, and a man asked him if he needed a ride back to his house. Things like that, that man may not have meant any harm, but to my dad, it was almost an insult. It was that he thought that he might not belong in that neighborhood. And as a Black person, you almost always have to have that guard up because society has taught us that there are people out in the world, like it or not, that will judge you based on the color of your skin, and that can no longer happen. Real change won't happen until those unaffected are as outraged as those affected. The unaffected need to stand up and back the Black community. Open your ears, listen, empathize, and be the engine for change in your community. These are very uncomfortable things to talk about, but we have to be comfortable out of our comfort zone and listen to the real issues that are still going on. Listen, educate yourselves on the issues, and be better.
Derek, I really am glad that you are here with us today. And I want to thank you for your message, for your presentation. And I think it's really important to me Monday morning as I'm thinking about what does our Sunday look like? How do we worship? How do we continue to honor the Lord and also love others like Jesus loved us. That's what he said, right? That's the biggest golden rule, the platinum rule.
Yeah.
And I'm in prayer Monday morning, and the very first thing I heard was, you need to give your voice to someone else, because I don't think it always does good from me. I've already got a comfortable place to be the one to say, hey, this is what we need to do, or this is how people feel, right? And the second thing I heard was Derek Branch. And as crazy as that is, we just have to listen to God in that way. And I always go back to this stuff. When I was in third grade, I got my Bible presentation, and I remember flipping through it, and I landed on Ephesians 4 and chapter 1. I just started reading, and these words, Paul says, therefore, as a prisoner of the Lord, I urge you to live a life worthy of the calling that you have received. And he says, be completely humble and gentle, be patient, bearing with one another in love. Make every effort to keep the unity of the Spirit to the bond of peace. And from third grade, I barely even knew what I was reading, but that has stuck with me all the way through. And I've tried to put it down and find a cooler verse, but I realized over time that's a life verse. And all these things coming together, I realized that it's my call, not just the pastor, but as someone who claims to be alive in Christ, to be saved and rectified and redeemed by Christ. This is my call, to be humble, to be gentle, to be patient, to bear with one another in love, and to seek unity through the Spirit, through that bond of peace. And so all that came together, and that's why I reached out to you. And I really want to thank you for all the things that you said and just being willing to be here. And what I think is really important for everyone to hear and to know today is that we have to listen and we have to be able to speak. Just as Derek said, we've got to listen and we have to be willing to speak. And I think sometimes one of the reasons why nobody is because we are so eager to judge each other and say, you can't say that, or can you believe what this person said? And we're so afraid to be judged and to really be ostracized for the things we say. But that's where we need grace. That's where we need mercy in this season, is to be able to not say all the right words. It is to be able to make a mistake of what we say, but to judge ultimately the hopes of our hearts, right? And to be able to say, this is what I'm ultimately going for. I might say it right, or I might not say it right. I might screw it up completely. And yet that we slow down. And so that's what I think is so important that everyone hears in this time from my perspective. So how did you feel about me, reaching out first to your folks and then you and saying hey, Derek, are you up for this?
I felt extremely grateful. I feel like a lot of people in my position probably wouldn't have much of a say, but I felt like it was my calling and almost my duty to come out and speak and allow people to hear what I have to say. Like I said, if we're asking people to listen, you have to use your platforms and you have to speak your truth and speak what you feel. So I felt like it was a blessing, and I felt very grateful to have the opportunity to come and say what I felt.
Cool. So tell us a little bit more about yourself, Derek. What's some of your background? Like how do people know you in the community? What's your story?
Yeah, so I go to Lincoln Southeast High School. I'm going to be a senior next year. I come from a biracial family. My mom is white. My dad is African American. So I feel like I have a lot of different experiences than other people have. I've mixed with a lot of different people, and I feel like just because of that, I kind of see different situations differently than most people.
Yeah. So, for example, what are your friends saying right now, or saying around you or to you?
Some are silent, but then some have really been outspoken. Some of my white friends have been the most outspoken, and they have kind of just come up with the sentiment like enough is enough. this has no place in our society anymore. We need to love each other. We need to. It just can't happen anymore.
Do you feel like that's a kind of a beacon of hope in the midst of all this, or are there other things that are hopeful for you in the midst of this?
Yeah, I'm definitely very, very hopeful because of what I've seen. During Blackout Tuesday, I really felt like there was just a community backing, and everyone was behind each other, not just the Black community, but the white community too. They were coming together, and it feels like we actually have the power now to rectify some of the things that have been going on.
Yeah. So, are there any things that have continued to be frustrating for you as you continue to watch these things unfold?
Yeah, I guess just the misconceptions about the protesting and the riots and what happened there. I feel like people are, like you said, really quick to judge, and they don't understand, I guess, the pain that is behind what watching a video like that happens. So, people are just quick to judge and say that it's always a bad thing, but there's just so much pain and anger behind watching that. So I just feel like part of the reason I wanted to come on is to kind of share why it was just so devastating to watch a video like that to the Black community.
We talk about change a lot, and it's been said in all kinds of circumstances that people don't change until the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of changing, right? And there are a lot of perspectives out there, but I heard an interview where a Black man said, "Hey, listen, I believe in approaching this through a just manner, and I believe that justice prevails. But I said sometimes you just have to get people's attention."
Mm-hmm.
And in kind of a humorous way, I think we can all identify that when it affects our personal property or our finances, we start listening more, right? When I wrecked my dad's car, that was a bigger thing than me just getting a speeding ticket.
Yeah.
Although even the speeding tickets, my dad sells insurance. Your dad sells insurance.
Yeah.
So he always reminded me of what happened to Rangers and all that. But so that speaks, and it's painful for me to watch. But at the same time, I get it. This can't continue to go on, as you said, and I think that we need to trust that voice that there are a lot of folks and a lot of communities out there that don't feel like this is ultimately changing.
Yeah.
So, I think one of the things that I wanted to also ask you today is what is the main thing that you want people to take away from listening today?
Really, my main thing was I wanted them to understand understand what the pain that this causes and the pain that racism causes, and just understand that there's no place in our country. And I also wanted them to understand that just because maybe they don't see it happening, that it definitely still happens in our communities. I've experienced some of it just in Lincoln, Nebraska, and this is still happening all over the country, quite frankly, all over the world. And there are things that we can do to help change it.
It just reminded God does crazy things in all of our seasons and lives. And even earlier this year, I can barely remember this. I feel like it's been years ago because so much crazy stuff has happened. But earlier, we dove into this series called Unifamous. And the whole idea was that we will become famous based on our unity. And the unity of the early church was something that really just swept whole regions for the purpose and the person of Jesus Christ. Because for the first time, slaves and women and children and those who were sick and ostracized from their communities had a place in this community of followers of this person Jesus who died even for them. And so we talked about how it's time for us to choose unity. And instead of looking at all the things that divide us and give us reason to say, no, we're different. No, we can't stand on the same platform. No, we don't agree in these crucial ways. To instead look at the heartbeat of what brings us together and brings unity to us. And so now as we look back to that and then move forward to this, see God working in a lot of those ways. And the thing that I don't want people to take away, because I think it's really typical for someone in my position to feel guilty, right? And to say, what do I do? What can I do as a way to say, well, how can I fix this? How can I make it all better? But I think it's important that instead of fixing things, that we are unified in this. And so, what would you say? Like, what does that look like? I know listening is the most important, and I love that you said that. But for tomorrow morning, when we all go back to work, whatever that looks like, how do we live differently, or how do we make a different choice that starts bridging those gaps, that starts bringing together that disunity?
I would say just teach love. We teach love in everything we do and every aspect of our life. Racism is not something that's taught. Bias against certain people is not something that's taught. So I feel like if we teach love and we don't, teach people to do things like that, I think, we just keep building, keep unifying together as just a whole.
Yeah. How do you know when you see someone from the white community showing love to you in a way that feels supportive? You think of a way that might look for you?
For me, it was just them reaching out, and all it takes is reaching out and just the acknowledgement of this is not okay. Because sometimes it feels like, just as a member of the Black community, it feels like sometimes the white community isn't as outraged as us. So for them to just reach out and be like, this is not okay, that was enough for me, because that was showing to them that they're reaching out and they're with me, in the fight.
I think that's really good. So, when we were talking about this before, I think one of the things that really struck me about this is that you were had grown up at Horizons a little bit, and can we confirm Horizons? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I just think that's a cool part of that story, your story, for me personally. And you were saying how this really spoke to your faith. And tell me a little bit more. How does your faith perspective really fit into all this?
Well, at first, I was left, asking why. Why would such evil still exist? And then I was able to remove myself a little bit and watch what God had created. And I firmly believe that He is creating unity. He used this terrible act to create unity amongst our country. And I feel like, there was a purpose for that, And, as long as I hang on to that belief, I feel like things are going to change,
Yeah, that's so powerful. And you said too that, when we talk about Black Lives Matter, and they absolutely do, all lives matter, that both of those things can be messages together.
Yeah.
What does that mean for you?
So I saw a video that said, that they can coexist, that they both remain true no matter what. Jesus would say, blessed are the poor. Well, right now, blessed are the poor, that is the Black community. The Black community needs our attention, and it needs our thought, it needs our headspace, and it needs our prayer. It just needs help right now. That's not taken away from any other group of people, but right now, we're just saying that our Black community needs our attention.
Yeah. I think it's really good. Is there anything else that you would just want people to be able to hear today?
I would just say, it's okay to, not understand fully, like what it feels like, but just do your best to, continue listening, continue educating yourself, and, just continue to, just try to be better,
Yeah, educating yourself, educating your children. Right?
Yes.
Keep teaching love. It's really good. Well, I want to thank everyone for being with us today, and we just lift this all up before God, and we're going to let Him do within us what He needs to do. I'm going to go ahead and just offer some prayer here. You want to pray with us as well?
Yeah.
All right. I want to go ahead and pray, and then I'll let you wrap us up, or you get the final word today. Lord God, I thank you that you have brought us together in this trying time, but that you have continued to show us a way. You've showed us how to listen, to slow down, to give space, and the value of conversation, Lord. We don't always get it right, but we know that when we do make an effort and step forward, that we're going to get closer. I pray for all of our brothers and sisters who are afflicted, who are oppressed, who have no voice, that you are with them, that you are encouraging them, that you are showing them your light, Lord. And I pray that those who are comfortable, those who are unafflicted, that you stir our waters, Lord, that you trouble our waters, and that you remind us that our brothers and sisters, that they are our own flesh, our own blood, and that the only way we move forward is if we move forward together, Lord. So I thank you, and I thank you for Derek for being able to share and just and be present here. And Lord, we also just want to hear Derek's heart and his prayer this time.
Lord, I thank you for bringing us together. Thank you for giving us a platform to be able to speak. And I just ask that you keep bringing us together, keep leading us, keep allowing us to shine your light. I ask that you keep letting us spread love, positivity, and just keep us together. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen.